Hi, welcome back to the Echoes podcast, where we share wisdom, establish identities, tell stories, and create echoes that last beyond the moment. So, just to recap on the last episode, we spent some time talking about Gagbhushandi, the black crow that was blessed with eternal devotion to Lord Rama. That the ugly duckling, the bad luck bird. It's just such a wonderful moment that particular animal was gifted such a wonderful blessing by Lord Rama. And so he takes his blessing of devotion, he flies off to the Himalayas, to a little spot that's called Mansarovar. When we translate that, it means the lake of the mind. And it's such a wonderful analogy that, when we work through our sort of mental gymnastics, our anxieties, our stresses, our strains, the pressures of today, that voice that keeps talking to us, that fills us with self-doubt, crisis of faith, crisis of confidence. It provides a wonderful analogy that if we sit by and observe that turbulent lake of our mind, if we connect to a character like Gagbhushandi, and we allow the energy of that character to fill us with the stories of Lord Rama, the Kirtan, the Bhagavatam, the stories, any stories that you want, whoever your deity is, of Hanuman, if you really just engage with yourself into those stories, it allows us that moment, that allows that lake to become still. When you listen to these wonderful stories of Rama as a child, or how he marries Sita, the whole story, as soon as you engage with it, the anxiety just drops away, it seems. The noise of the world goes down. And so it's just, for me, growing up, I just always really, really love that character. And it's just always that reminder that actually by engaging with these stories, it's a wonderful antidote to the mental pressures that we face today. So I just wanted to recap on that. And today we're going to be talking about sage Vishwamitra. He's one of those sort of quite scary sages, quite a dreaded character. And he goes across the generations as well. You sort of hear about him in various different sort of Puranic stories and how frightening he is and how powerful he is. And so he arrives at, the kingdom of Ayodhya, and he comes for several different purposes. And essentially, he's there to move the story on. If he doesn't arrive at this point, then Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, they've just Shatrughan, they've been at their Gurukul, they've come back schooled. If there's no tension, there's no chaos here, then everyone just lives happily ever after. And Dasharatha is in no rush to allow his children to go up into the grown-up world, to face challenges. He's happy to just have them back in the palace and, have family dinners together and, just enjoy being with those children. But he calls out their family motto to Sage Vashishta. They've always been known to be helping the sages. And so he says, Prana jaya paravachana na jaya. That is the Raghu dynasty motto, that we're happy to lose our lives, but we will never ever give up on a promise. We will never lose our word. We'll always do our best to fulfill the thing that we've said for. And so before Vishwamitra is even asked for what he wants, Dasharatha says, I vow I will give you anything you ask for. And so he's in a bind because Vishwamitra says, all I want is your son Ram. I need him to come and help protect my yajna, to defeat the demons. And so Dasharatha goes into a panic. He says, you can't possibly take my son. He's very young. He's very innocent. He likes to go to sleep on time. How is he possibly going to protect your yagna? Take me. I am the powerful king. I'm more than capable of coming with you and helping. I'll bring my whole army. We will protect your yagna. But Vishwamitra obviously knows more than meets the eye. He realizes that Rama needs to leave Ayodhya in this moment, not just to protect the yajna, but there is a journey in progress. This is eventually how he meets and marries Sita. So Rama cannot be left in Ayodhya just to grow up naturally. He needs to move the story on. So Sage gets very angry. He says, you've just promised me, and now within seconds you're going back on your promise. You should be ashamed of yourself, old king. And at this moment, Rama obviously gets involved and he says, Father, please don't let the sage curse Ayodhya. Don't lose your word. Let me protect that. I'm happy to go with the sage, come what may. I'm an accomplished warrior. I'll be able to support the sage in protecting his penances. Let me go. Naturally, if you go back to a couple of episodes, Lakshmana is straight up, I will go with you. I will protect Rama. Father, don't worry. Rama won't be alone. And this tracks forward. There's an insecurity and a worry that comes into Dasharatha's heart, in his mind. Not just about worrying about Rama, but also probably worrying about himself. So we learn about the story of Shravan, that Dasharatha in his youth had fired an arrow and accidentally killed this young man, thinking he was a tiger. And the parents cursed him. And they said, just as we are dying without our son next to us, you will also die without your favorite son. And so whenever there is some threat of Rama going away, being away from the palace, Dasharatha starts to fear for his own life. Not just for Rama, but his own. If Rama's not here, the chances of me dying are increased a huge amount. And so eventually he agrees for Rama to go with the sage, but he has one last roll of the dice and he calls Bharat close to him and he says, Bharat, you look exactly like Rama. They basically look like twins. He says, you love Rama as much as I do. Rama is going into danger. As the younger brother, you need to step up and protect his life. I want you to dress as Rama. And instead of Rama, I want you to go with Vishwamitra. And we need to trick the sage so that Rama doesn't go away, so that Rama doesn't end up in danger. And so Bharata goes out with Lakshman instead of Ram. And they start on their way. And sage Vashishta, Vishwamitra, is equally powerful. He knows exactly what's going on. And so at the palace gates, the palace doors, he stops and he says, before we set off, Rama, I have a question for you, a philosophical question. Before we set off, I need you to answer that question so that I know that you're the right person to take along. And Vishwamitra says, here is our destination. Here is our destination that we're going to defeat and protect. Defeat the demons, protect the yajna. There are two paths that go to that destination. One path is very direct, but it goes through a thick jungle that's full of wild animals and beasts. And there is another path that is a little bit more winding, and it'll take us longer to get there, but it's perfectly safe. Which path are we going to take? And Bharat, in his own way, responds to the sage and he says, my job here is to protect you. And the easiest way to do that is to take the long and winding path because it is safe. And we will get to the place, we'll get to our destination, and it will be the safest way to go. So the sage calls Bharat, who is actually Ram, and he says, Bharat, which way would you go? Which path would you take? And Ram stands up tall, chest up, shoulders back, and he says, Master, we'll take the most direct route. Come what may, we will come across and come over any challenges that present us along the way, but we need to get to our destination as directly and as quickly as possible, and I will handle the dangers that come our way. And within that moment, Sage Vishwamitra tells the boys, I've come to realize who is who. Bharat, you can't trick me any further. This is Ram, and this is who I'm taking. And they all go along their way. But it's a moment for reflection. Neither of those two answers are right in any particular way. I think it's just about personality. And so there's a moment for you to think for yourselves. Which is the route that you would take? The route that has the inbuilt safety that takes a little bit longer to get there, or the direct route that is full of danger and threats and challenges, but if you're able to overcome them and face them, that you'll get to your destination much quicker. Just a little thing for you to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode, and make sure to join us next time. I can't wait to share more stories with you. And so, yeah, keep posting.